Welcome to This Ready to Craft. In this video, I will show you how to paint a winter forest scene on Readi-Board foam board. To begin, I've already cut my board in half, glued the two halves together, and allowed it to dry overnight. I didn't line up my pieces perfectly, so I'm going to trim my edges. I'm going to pour out a little black and brown paint, and grab a brush with coarse bristles. I'll mix the paint slightly and then dab off some of the paint before moving to my board. I'm lightly and gently dragging the brush across the surface of the board. I want some areas with heavier strokes and others with lighter, trying to achieve a good even coverage across my project. Make sure this is completely dry before you move on. Because we are going to use spray paint, we have to protect our exposed foam edges. I'm going to use some masking tape for this. Now that my edges are covered, we're going to begin taping off some trees. I'm going to lay out some pieces that will be long enough to go the entire height of my project. You only need to press lightly when you're placing your tape on your board. I'm going to use my hobby knife to cut my strips of tape. This will make the edges slightly wavy, like tree trunks would appear to be. I'm going to apply my spray paint in a well-ventilated area. When applying, you want to hold the can a little further away than the instructions suggest. This will allow the paint to dry slightly before hitting the surface of our project. We also only need a very light layer for this step. Once the first layer of paint is dry, we can tape the second layer. As you are working, think about how trees in a forest would look. The ones closest to you would appear larger than those further away. I did 3 layers, but feel free to do as many as you like. Just make sure you allow the paint to dry in between each one. reveal all your hard work. Carefully peel the tape off. Now we're going to paint the ground. I'm going to use a brush to apply the initial white stripe at the bottom. Now I'm going to use the damp sponge to go over the line and give the ground a softer edge. I did 2 coats of paint with the sponge, letting the first one dry before applying more paint. The next step is a little messy, so be sure to cover your work area. I've got a paintbrush with stiff, coarse bristles. You can also use an old toothbrush for this. I'm going to flick the bristles, which will speckle white paint across my board and mimic the look of snow falling. I'll dip my brush into the paint and then dab off some of the extra. If you have too much paint on your brush, you might get heavy globs of paint splattered across your project. You can always test your paint splattering on a piece of paper if you're uncertain. Now that my snow is dry, I can remove the tape from my edges. You can see I have a little bit of a curve to my project. This is an easy fix. Simply dampen the back of your board and allow it to dry. Really stubborn bends might require you to weigh down your project while it dries. It may be difficult to see on camera, but my board is already relaxed and flattened out slightly. Now that my project is dry and my board is flat, I'm going to cover my edges. I'm going to use hot glue to apply this 3/8 inch ribbon. You could paint the edges or use glue and apply some glitter. Because we used foam board, the painting is very light and can be hung using just some double-sided tape. If you try this craft out, we'd love to see it. Our social media links can be found in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If there's a foam board craft that you'd like to see a ready to craft of, let us know in the comments.